That is so catchy.
Oh, it's awesome. Shout out again to the man himself, Steven Johnson at Steven Roto on Twitter. The guy, if you need something done like that, the best in the business at doing those intros. But welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Triple Play Fantasy Baseball Show. Got a packed house tonight. We got a full crew here. Of course, we got our buddy Cheesecake in the house again. Always a pleasure having him on screen. We've got the Doc, of course, here. The ugly smile as he always does. Gentlemen, are you ready to talk some playoff prediction baseball tonight?
I am, David.
That's awesome. We need a guy. There's a guy that was here a second ago that I will introduce when he comes back on. So I know everybody's on the edge of their seat to see who the guest was, because all you saw was the initials. But I'm going to show you that right now who this guest is. This guest, this BW person, as a man that is going to be the glue guy for a show that is constantly dislodged, unfastened, and unbound. He does Minnesota Twins coverage for Access Twins. He's the co-host of that 90s baseball pod where we can reminisce on the good old days of baseball. He's an antisocial extrovert, which I have no idea what that means, but I like it. And he's a writer, not a rooter, a baller that if you need on your podcast, you give him a holler. This is your warning because we have Brandon Warren on the show. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys, I'm doing good. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for joining us tonight. Baseball postseason's right around the corner. I feel like we got a lot of fun stuff ahead of us. Are you excited for the postseason?
I mean, it'd be a lot more exciting if the Twins were anywhere near postseason, but it's the way these races are shaping up and all that. It's just awesome. With Toronto and New York all jockeying for position, and Boston, and just kind of the idea that they could be these ties, and they call it a team entropy. Is what Jay Jaffe from formerly baseball perspective, and he's a Fangraphs now calls it. But we want chaos, and I think we can get some of it.
Jeff Passan's been beating that drum for chaos, and I'm about it.
Yeah, he is. He has been for sure. But let's not beat around the bush anymore. We've already kind of been talking about it. We have the postseason prediction show. So the October air is out there. It's coming tomorrow. The leaves are falling, turning colors. I don't actually around here. There's not. So that's kind of been surprising. But there's a chill in the nights, and that means that playoff baseball is right around the corner, and that means people become heroes, change their careers forever, maybe even win a ring. Obviously, you could have an A-Rod or somebody like that that's going to you're going to hate for their dreadful postseason run, which we'll get to later on. But it's going to be a hell of a ride, so make sure you're buckled in, as we've got some predictions we're going to make tonight regarding the postseason. Let's see if one of us is a Nostradamus and we could kind of call our shots, predict the future. So we're going to start out with our first one here. And our first prediction is we're calling the wild card, which who are the wild card teams? And once the wild card teams are set, who do you think win the wild card games that are going to be played? So, Doc, I'll start with you up top. Who are your wild card predictions? And then who ultimately wins the wild card games?
So the NL wild card is set. It's already going to be the Dodgers and Cardinals. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go Dodgers in that. And then in the AL, I have the Yankees because they already have a lead right now. And I'm going the Blue Jays. And if the Blue Jays can win tonight with Robbie Ray on the round against the Yankees, I think it's going to really help them. Yes. Robbie Ray on the round, yes. And then they have a 3-game homestand against the Orioles, which if they can win 3 out of these last 4 games, I think they're going to sneak in. And then I have the Dodgers and Blue Jays winning both of the wild card play-in games.
The Doc is all blue. All for the blue for the wild card. Cheesecake, what about you, my man? Who are your predictions?
Well, I mean, I don't see any reason why the Rays would take it easy on the Yankees in the last series of the season. Could be after tonight that there are 4 teams within 1 game of each other heading into the last series with 3 games left. Really, if you go by schedule, it should be the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. I just think the Red Sox seem to me like an El Foldo type team this year. They're kind of slowing down, sputtering down the stretch. And the Blue Jays have been the best run differential team out of all of them. Mm-hmm. So I like them, and I guess, while I don't see the Rays taking it easy on the Yanks, I do think that the Yankees are just a little bit too talented. I'm going to have the Yankees and the Blue Jays making it.
Yankees and Blue Jays. All right. So got the 2 AL East calls there, as well as so if they play in that game, who wins?
I'm going Blue Jays.
And did you say between the Dodgers and Cardinals, who you think wins that game?
I think that it's going to be the Dodgers. The Cardinals are. I think they're running a little too hot. One game to play in. I think the Dodgers can slow it down. They got that type of veteran team. I think it's going to be the Dodgers.
I think it's just the pitching matchup, like Max Scherzer against maybe Jack Flaherty.
Well, we've got 2 for the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. I, for one, am going to throw my hat and just say that I think the Cardinals beat the Dodgers. I think it's one of those teams that are coming in really hot. Max Scherzer has shown you he's a Hall of Fame talent. But if you look at what he did with the Nationals as far as the playoffs, when in the wild card games and other things like that, remember against the Giants, that he kind of buckled a little bit when he was with the Nationals as well. There's something in my gut that says maybe he goes like 5 innings, 3 earned runs or something like that, which not a bad start, but that just enough where the Cardinals could sneak it in there. I will not be shocked if that happens. Brandon, are you with these two? Do you think that it's going to be a Blue Jays and Dodgers wild card winners for each conference here?
I believe that the Dodgers should win, but I think St. Louis pulls it out, and it just kind of shows you the improbability of postseason baseball, where you're like the Dodgers are expected to be the number 1 seed and go all the way, and instead, I think I could see them going home early with St. Louis tripping them up. So I'm going to go with the Birds on both sides. I'm going to say Toronto over New York, and I'm going to say we're going to take St. Louis over LA. I want to take LA. I believe in LA, but I also like being contrarian. So I'm going to go that route because they're just so hot right now. And again, too, I mean, maybe it doesn't trend into the season at all. I think we all know that you can really flip a switch going into the postseason. It doesn't necessarily mean that any quote-unquote momentum will carry you through October, but the St. Louis team is a fun team. I mean, you don't look at them as the superpower like you do the Dodgers, but I don't know. They just get it done. I really like what they got going on, and I think they got a chance to make some noise in October.
Well, so we got 2 on the Cardinals, 2 on the Dodgers. You also picked the Blue Jays. Are they beating the Yankees?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I got to roll with Jose Rios.
All right. I like it. So plenty of Blue Jays picks on the show, and then we're split down the middle on the Cardinals and the Dodgers. So that will be very interesting. All the pressure will 100% be on the Dodgers in that matchup because the Cardinals will be playing with house money at that point. So be very interesting to see that game and obviously if the Dodgers, if Scherzer gives up like 2 runs in the first inning or 2 and they don't think he has it, they could always go to Walker Buehler or Clayton Kershaw too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have
Arias.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways they can go. It'll be interesting to see that play out.
Yeah, the Dodgers have had pressure on them for about 8 seasons now. I think they're pretty used to it. It's been a pressure-filled run for them, and they've just kept performing. Like their season now, they're not going to win their division for the first time in a long time, but they're going to win 103, 104 games. I mean, they've been consistently great. I just don't see. I don't think that St. Louis is gonna top them.
It's ironic that the Dodgers won in a pandemic season, like when there's probably no pressure because we're going through a global pandemic is when they perform well. So maybe in a regular season now they're not going to.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It'll be interesting. That again, right around the corner. Our next category here is we're calling it Ghostin'. So we kind of teased it a little bit in the intro here. Who's going to have the Alex Rodriguez type postseason that drags their team down? And that's the memory of them that we have. They basically kind of almost in a way cost their team a run at a World Series because they're so dreadful. They're a black hole in the middle of that lineup, or a pitcher that just blows up in the postseason that you think you could count on and just doesn't perform. So Cheesecake, I'll start with you for this one. Who do you have for Mr. Alex Rodriguez for the ghosting category?
You don't want to wish this on anybody. I think someone who might be causing frustration for his fans, for the fans of that team, is Christian Yelich. He's been a guy who's they signed to the huge contract. He's been the guy who they thought might be their anchor. He's had a disappointing season. strikeouts in big moments in the playoffs are what this category is all about. And I could see Yelich, just having a strikeout-filled postseason.
And the Brewers need that lineup to do something because their rotation's been absolutely disgusting. And now they also are down Devin Williams, who broke his hand stupidly.
Why do people continue to do this? Why do people think punching a wall is a good idea?
Well, I think he was drunk, if I'm not mistaken.
David, I can tell you I've been drunk many times in my life, and I've never thought punching a wall was a good idea.
I mean, I'm with you, but I'm saying it's not like he was frustrated after an outing and punched it. Like, he might have been under the influence to where he wasn't thinking, but I agree with you. It's definitely not excusable, and nothing most would do that. Brandon, who is your Mr. A-Rod, your ghost and player for October?
I was thinking about this. I'm going with Yohan Moncada because it just seems like he's such a polarizing player among White Sox fans. I have a lot of White Sox fans in my Twitter feed, which is a blessing and it's a burden. And he's a very polarizing guy because he's got these stretches where he looks like an MVP candidate, and then he's got stretches where you want to hide him in the number 8 spot in the order because he just goes so ice cold for such long periods. So I could see that happening where he maybe kicks a couple balls in the infield and goes cold at the plate, and it will be in a small sample size if they lose that series, 3, 4, 5 other games, to where a couple plays will really be more evident than it would be over the course of a month or so, where a guy makes a couple mistakes but otherwise has a good month. Yeah, time for that stuff to correct in a postseason series, and so those issues are magnified. And I kind of feel like that's my guy. I thought about maybe saying like Dallas Keuchel, but I don't really think they're going to rely on him like they might have a year ago if it gets to that. I think they like the front of their rotation a bit more, that they won't have to push him as much. So for me, it's an everyday guy. I'm going to go with Moncada.
It's a good call. Obviously, someone that's used to striking out, and somebody that obviously had the prospect pedigree, and maybe with the White Sox being relevant for the first time in years, that maybe the expectations of the postseason run weigh on him heavily, and he goes back to, or he's still a free swinger regardless. But I could definitely see that playing out the way you're describing it there. Doc, do you have a player in mind?
Yeah, well, I'm glad I pivoted from Christian Yelich. He's actually been heating up this month, and I'm kind of going with the trend, and I'm sticking with the White Sox, and I'm going to say Jose Abreu. Right now, he has 1 home run in the month of September. He's hitting .244 for the month, well below what we used to see him hit. And he's only had 1 postseason experience, and that was last year, playing 3 games, 14 at-bats. For as much of a veteran as he is, this is his first, I guess, second real postseason experience. And he's the heart and soul. He's probably the longest tenured White Sox. And I think just having Tony La Russa as a manager too, like I can't see him being the supportive type. I can see him, because of the success that he's had as a manager over the years, that you start to play a little bit more mental gymnastics. And I think the fact that he's on a cold stretch right now going into the postseason isn't going to bode well for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's definitely a good point there. And interesting you guys went to this from the same team with the White Sox. I think that Astros series is going to be maybe the best first round matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
That have high expectations to go far in this postseason. One of them is going to lose in the first round. So it's very interesting it's already set that matchup too. So it's going to be very interesting to see that play out. Let's go to another category here. Let's talk about our biggest surprise. So who or what will be the biggest surprise from the postseason? So this could be a team that makes a run. This could be a player that comes out of nowhere. We're going to be going on to later about who you think boosts their draft stock the most when we do our fantasy drafts. But just somebody in general, again, it could be a person or a team that maybe just surprises you. Something that you're going to be looking back and like, wow, like this is a surprise. Like, wow, like this is a surprise. This is a, I can't describe it any better than that. So
do you need a synonym for surprise?
Go ahead and give me one.
Blessing. I don't know.
It's not a synonym.
All right, hold on. Let me type one in. While you go to Brandon. While you go to Brandon.
Okay, Brandon, who is your surprise for this postseason, or what is your surprise?
I think Toronto's bullpen turns it around. I think they've been a liability for most of the season, and I think it's a thing that can be managed around in the postseason, but it's tougher to do. We saw Dusty Baker do it with the Astros last year, where he kind of mixed and matched. You don't have to use your worst relievers really at all. So I think the pitching in general for Toronto, you kind of expect that offense to carry them. But I think if you go into a series with Robbie Ray and Jose Brios, you have a chance. So I think if the pitching carries Toronto wherever they're headed, whether it's only to the wild card game or all the way to the World Series crown, I think we're going to look back and be like, wow, I expected the offense to do that, but it was the pitching staff instead.
It's interesting. Do you think there's a reliever in that bullpen that kind of is the talk of the postseason for that? Or do you think it's just collectively there's not one that stands out, but they all just completely ball out?
I mean, I was really hoping it would be Julian Merriweather's year, but that didn't really come to fruition. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't really have anybody picked out specifically. I really like Jordan Romano, but it's I think it's just going to be kind of a collaborative effort, which is sometimes that's how bullpens make it work. Sometimes you guys who can be firemen and go out there for multiple innings, or you run a guy like Aroldis Chapman out there more than you would in the regular season. I think it's just going to be up to Montoyo to kind of mix and match and figure it out. But I'm hopeful that Jordan Romano's in that mix.
Oh, I like it. Let's go to you, Doc. Do you have a synonym for us, and then do you have a surprise?
Yeah, so the synonyms shock, astonishment, and bewilderment are the top three. Do any of those fit?
I mean, either of those could work. All right, who's your astonishment?
You know what? I felt like we were going to talk enough about players. So my surprise, and maybe this isn't a surprise, I think there is going to be a big crackdown on pitching in terms of checking for foreign substances. I think it's going to be every inning or two, because I think with cheating, with everybody's going to think of the Astros postseason with the trash can banging. And it's one thing in the regular season, but now that you have the best of the best that are making it, especially with not the expanded playoffs, I think if any team has the slightest bit that a pitcher might be using a substance, that they're going to have them go out and check. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on pitchers to not use it at all. And I think anytime that there is speculation on that a team is going to challenge and they're going to say, hey, check that. We've kind of saw it in waves when they implemented the rule first. It seemed like they were doing it pretty frequently. Then they cooled off for a little bit unless there is a request. But I think we're going to see probably 2 to 3 checks minimum for each team during the game.
Interesting. So you think that will dominate the postseason headlines?
I do.
Okay.
I think the last thing Major League Baseball wants is another black eye for cheating. So I think in the rare instance here, they're going to try to be proactive rather than reactive and enforce a rule that they shouldn't have never put in midseason.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go to Cheesecake if he has a wow factor for this one.
I mean, I don't know if it's a huge wow factor. I really think that the Atlanta Braves are coming into the playoffs with a good chance to come out of the National League. I think that would be a big wow for them. I think they're set up to face Milwaukee in the divisional playoff round. Milwaukee obviously just lost Devin Williams, and therefore their bridge to the 9th inning is now going to have to be cobbled together. And Atlanta's starting to get, their pitching starting to get healthy. I remember a few months ago, we were talking about where's Atlanta's pitchers. All their pitchers are hurt. They're starting to get healthy again. Max Fried pitched a great game last night. Morton's been solid. Anderson's been solid. It's been solid. They got a decent bullpen. They bolstered it at the deadline. They lost Acuna, but they still have Freeman. They picked up a lot of pop at the deadline. I think Atlanta is a team that has a really good shot to come out of the National League this year.
Interesting. So maybe we get to tease for one of our subjects later on here. So interesting call there, Cheesecake. I like where your head's at. Let's move to our next category here. Let's talk about our Mr. Randy Arozarena. So this is who boosts their draft stock the most during this postseason run. Somebody that you think over the next few weeks here, we see them kind of take center stage. They're the talk of the postseason. And when you have your fantasy drafts next year, maybe they boost themselves up another 4 or 5 rounds from where you were going to draft them. So let's start back at the top here with, I believe, Doc, you got us started. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Who's Mr. Randy Arozarena?
So I'm using this tweet from Eric Cross. There are 4 players that are in the 90th percentile or greater in average exit velocity, barrel percentage, and sprint speed. Shohei Ohtani, Fernando Tatis, Ronald Acuna, and Tyler O'Neill. And this month, he's hitting .314 with 11 homers, 27 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. So he's providing it across multiple categories. The Cardinals just won 17 in a row. He's going to be hitting in a good lineup. Yadi's coming back for one more season. Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, who's probably been one of the hottest players in the second half, are locked in for another year. The Cardinals are just a pretty well-run organization. Obviously didn't see that the first half, but I could see him carrying this over into a good postseason, assuming that they win the wild card game and ultimately helping his draft stock in 2022.
I was going to say that has to be an Eric Cross tweet, but that's not something Eric Mendelson would come up with.
You're right. But that's why I gave credit.
No, it's good. That's good. Cheesecake, who's Mr. Randy Arozarena?
This may be cheating. I think Gavin Lux is my choice on this one.
No, it's a good call.
I'm glad I diversified again.
Yeah, you were going to go with it. I have someone. Well, Lux has been playing almost every day in September. Actually, next season, depending on your league, he could have 3 position eligibility. He's playing outfield. He's played 16 games in the outfield this season. If he plays all of the last 4, he'll have 20. I think NFBC eligibility is 21 for a full season. It was 7 coming into this season after last year. I think it's 21 games for eligibility. Now that's someone can correct me in the comments if that's wrong, but if it's 20, he could end up with 3 position eligibility: shortstop, second base, and outfield in NFBC leagues next year. And with the playing time, with the fact that he's sort of a post hype guy now, a big playoffs really could boost his stock.
That's a great one. And you're right. He's getting the playing time right now. He was helping people down the stretch with his play, and they're using him all over the place. So I think that Gavin Lux could be that guy, and he's going to have a big magnifying glass on him playing for the Los Angeles Dodgers. If he performs for that lineup that many expect should get to the World Series, then he's going to have the entire postseason, the spotlight on him. He's going to be able to perform, and people will take notice. So good pick with that one. Brandon, who's your pick?
Edmundo Sosa, the utility infielder extraordinaire for the Cardinals. I think he kind of sneaks under the radar, but he's one of those guys. They seem to have one crop up every single year where it's a guy that just kind of develops, and you don't really expect him to be a really solid everyday player. And I think that he had a great year. I mean, he's a 3-win player by Baseball Reference 4, but this will be a coming out party for him in the sense that he'll get more national exposure and more national love as a guy who can really, really play. Now, does that mean it's gonna stick? I mean, Randy Arozarena, did it stick for a full season? I don't know that you'd say that, but you're talking about a guy getting onto the mainstream and the highlight reels for the first time. I could see Sosa doing that kind of thing, and like I said, yeah, they seem to come up with these new stars just kind of out of thin air. One day it's Paul DeYoung, and I feel like every year they've got a new guy that just kind of pops up as a really solid everyday player, and this is the guy for me this offseason, or this postseason rather.
As a Cubs fan, I find that frustrating and accurate. So I find that to be a frustrating and accurate statement. You can go down the list. Matt Carpenter was one of those. Tommy Pham was another one of them.
Alan Craig.
Alan Craig is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tommy Edman probably too.
Yeah. These guys that are like 26, 27.
David Freese killing the Rangers.
There it is. Yeah, David Freese is another one. Oh, God damn Cardinals.
Yeah, they're pesky. Does anybody think it could be a pitcher in Shane Baz? Because the way he's finished out the season, if he gets utilized as like a 3-inning like machine in the postseason for the Rays, they put him in, kind of like Julio Urias was for the Dodgers last year, and he looks absolutely dominant in the postseason. Do you think that he gets a huge bump?
I feel like he's already gotten a decent bump from his 2 outings to finish the year. Like, I feel like a lot of the Rays' young players, like Wander Franco, Shane Baz, are all going to be bumped up next year just because of the team they play for. Like, I can't think of any team that has more up-and-coming young stars than the Rays.
Yeah, I mean Franco, I think is already locked in as a second or third round pick next year, but
it's like a 42 game on base streak. It's crazy.
Yeah, but no, I mean they're obviously the favorites in the American League for a reason, and they have a lot of exciting young talent, and it's going to be full on display when they play, and they'll probably give them a lot of chances to perform. So we'll to see. Franco could be that guy too. I mean, he's already have a pretty high draft stock, but if he tears it up, maybe he's a guaranteed second round pick. So we'll see. Let's talk about our last part of our prediction show tonight. That's going to be calling your shot. So give us your AL and your NL champ, and then ultimately who wins the World Series, because obviously we don't want to tease them and not give them the pick. This is your prediction on record before the postseason starts. Obviously, assuming your wild card team that you call gets in, who do you think wins the World Series and gets there? Start with Cheesecake.
Oh, it's so hard. I think that I'm going to stick with my. I'm going to go out on that limb. I'm going to say Atlanta gets it done, gets to the World Series from the National League. I really like the way they've kind of come together this last bit of the season to clinch that division. And in the AL, I do think that a team like Houston, with their offense and the fact that they do have some good starting, I could see them coming out. The East is so tough. Those teams are all very tough. But the Rays, it's very hard to go to 2 straight. Yankees, Blue Jays, very tough. But Houston, they got a nice first round series. I mean, I do think the White Sox are very good. And I could see them doing it as well. But I think Houston comes out of that one. And I think it's going to be Houston versus Atlanta, which would be probably boring for MLB, but I think it would be a fun series.
Who wins?
Atlanta.
All right. So they've gotten on the cusp. They've been on the cusp of the World Series the last couple of years. Not only did they go there this year, but they win it. All right. Cheesecake on record, an Atlanta Brave fan. Okay. Brandon, who's your picks for the AL and the NL, and who wins?
Well, I really wanted to see Milwaukee, but this Devin Williams situation puts a damper on that for me. So I'm going, and this is probably going to be the least exciting potential, but Tampa Bay and San Francisco, because I think you just got the two teams that have been so good year in, year out. San Francisco has been just incredible. They completely left San Diego in the dust, and nobody ever thought they'd beat San Diego, let alone Los Angeles. I can't doubt them. They got that kind of feel this year. And Tampa, I think Tampa finally gets it done, though. I think Tampa finally wins one for the nerds. I know the Dodgers won one for the nerds last year, but it was nerds with money. This is the one for the nerds where it's ingenuity, it's creativity, and also probably going to make people crazy when they sell off a few more guys. But that's what they do. That's how they operate, and we just got to kind of deal with it. So I'm thinking Tampa Bay over San Francisco, and I think it's going to be a very entertaining 6 or 7 game series.
I would watch that. Tampa Bay and San Francisco. It's just like two teams that grind it out, that the best out of the talent that they have. That would be a very exciting World Series, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, Doc, what's your World Series pick?
My World Series pick could be over wild card. I'm going with my wild card teams. I'm going Dodgers over the Blue Jays in 5.
Dodgers over the Blue Jays in 5. Okay.
I mean, to be honest, the Cardinals and the Yankees could win. Blue Jays could not even make the postseason, and my prediction is done even before it starts. But you got to go out on a limb.
No, you do. I think the team I'm rooting for the most might be the Blue Jays, just because I love the young talent, and they haven't been relevant for a long time. So I think with the run differential that was discussed, I think in the opener, that they're a good team, and they deserve to be in the postseason. They deserve to have a chance at a long series. When you throw out Robbie Ray and Jose Barrios, Hyun-Jin Ryu, maybe not as much anymore, but they have decent pitching. They have arguably the best hitting in the major leagues. So I could see it if they get there, if they get past the wild card game. I think that's a good, and you have $500 on the line on that call. So
and the thing is, the Red Sox are losing to the Orioles right now, 3-1 in the middle of the 6th. So that dings them down. And if the Blue Jays win, then they're tied with the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. I think my prediction, I have the New York Yankees coming out of the American League, and I have the St. Louis Cardinals coming out of the National League.
Ooh.
And I have the St. Louis Cardinals winning it all.
Ooh, spicy.
I think it's going to be one of those like the powerhouse Yankees against the surprising Cardinals. And I have a lot of family that are big Yankees fans, and they're going to be just complaining to me about.
Yeah, you can say that now.
Yeah, I mean, they're very passionate Yankees fans, and to be honest, being around them so much, I've grown to like the Yankees a lot more than I did before, just because you talk about it. I don't know. I'm a Twins fan through and through, but I give a lot more appreciation. Yeah, Brandon, I was going to say at some point I had to acknowledge that we have two Twins fans on this show right now. But yeah, the Yankees.
Yeah.
How could you be a Twins fan showing love to the Yankees?
Because it's not a rivalry, because they beat us every single time. I can recognize when someone owns you, and it's just like you accept it. I lay down and I accept it.
That's like Pedro Martinez.
What'd you say, Brandon?
Your little brother isn't your rival until he beats you in anything.
That's right.
Annoyance.
That's true. That's true.
It's pretty staggering how many times they've beaten the Twins consecutively in the postseason. It's just mind-boggling to me. This is one little sidetrack note, but Brandon, when they were in the wild card game a few years ago, when Irvin Santana took the mound, and the Twins, what was like a 3-0 lead right from the start, because they had a home run off of Luis Severino or whatever it was. And we thought maybe this is the year. We got a 3-run lead with Irvin Santana on the mound, who's been absolutely balling out in the second half. And then in one inning, we gave it all back to him. Just awful.
And then Irvin Santana was never the same again.
That's right. That was like pretty. I know he pitched for the Royals this year, but he was definitely never the same after that. And then we won't even go into.
Yeah.
We won't even go into all the heartbreak before that with the stacked teams we had with Johan Santana, and of course all the stacked hitting that we had for so long, and just couldn't even get to the second round. It's just mind-boggling.
Terrible.
But all right, let's get to the next segment of the night here, and that's going to be our our question of the week first. All right, our question of the week is sponsored by Monkey Knife Fight. Triple Play Fantasy is an official affiliate to Monkey Knife Fight, the fastest growing sports betting site in the United States. New depositors receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 using promo code Triple Play. So do it, as Nike says, or just do it. Of course, that would be very appreciated by this group over here. So our question this week, if you could be any player's agent excluding salary, who would you pick and why? So you don't get any of the salary benefit from being that player's agent, strictly who you get to work with. So Brandon, you're our guest, so we'll start with you. Who would you pick to be to represent in the major leagues?
Oh, wow. I'm trying to think of like who I want to hang out with. Like who's the coolest guy to hang out with in the big leagues? Man.
There's some cool guys out there. Some cool cats.
I think
we can come back to you if you want to.
Like someone like Juan Soto, because I think it's going to be fun to negotiate the future deal. Again, we're not talking about money, so I get that. But I think it would ensure that you're in that position for a very long time. So I'm going to take the route of a really good, really young player in Juan Soto.
All right. I like it. Juan Soto is a good one to start off with. Cheesecake, who would you pick for this question?
So when I initially thought of it, I thought it was about money. That's the way I took it. Because my first thought was it's going to be Marcus Semien because he's a free agent. He's having a huge year. He's going to get a huge payday, and that money's going to go in my pocket. Now, it kind of works both ways. He's supposed to be a really cool guy. But for me personally, if I was going to be one person's agent, also a free agent this year is Anthony Rizzo. I want to hang with Rizzo. I want him to be my buddy. I want us to be friends. I'll pitch batting practice to him. It'll be great.
I know that's like a TV show. Me and my pal Rizzo.
Me and Rizzo, yeah.
I like that. And he seems like a pretty nice guy. His wife's also very I know his wife's like very involved in She does like a lot of, I think it's charitable work and stuff like that too. I think that'd be a great person to be involved with there. Doc,
yeah, absolutely.
Who's your pick?
I mean, you guys went with nice people. I'm going with Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn, can you imagine you sign a contract with him and he's like, all right, let's go get drunk. Let's just have some beer and sit on the couch. That's my type of guy. Lance Lynn, if you need an agent, call me.
What if he doesn't drink? Do you know that he drinks?
Come on. Lance Lynn drinks.
I don't. You never know. You could just be.
I wish he had socials. Like that would be probably the biggest shock to me in my life if Lance Lynn did not drink.
I mean, he definitely looks like he does, but again, we can never assume that.
He seems like a guy that just throws on overalls and chugs a beer at 9 a.m.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I would say if we were picking like a retired player from recently, I think CC Sabathia would have been a great one to do.
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of a very fun player to represent. If I had to pick a current one though,
Curtis Granderson would have been good too.
Yeah.
That is a great call. Yeah, Curtis Granderson would have been perfect for this.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a current one though, I feel like you want to pick like kind of how Brandon was saying. You pick someone that's like young and exciting, somebody that's like is going to have personality. He's not going to just sit and just talk business with you. They might like give you some life when you actually talk with them and be fun to engage with. I feel like I don't know, like Fernando Tatis. Again, take the money out of it. I feel like he's an exciting young player. I feel like he's the type of person that would joke around and make it fun to be his agent. So I think that's my vote. I mean, I'm sure there's a better answer out there, but I feel like going the young, exciting route of somebody that will be fun to represent, that would be him. So good picks all around. Let's go to the last segment of the night, and that's going to be our game of the week. All right, our game of the week. Doc, you are hosting our game this week. What are we playing?
All right, so it's a game that we haven't played in a little bit, and it's the one where you're guessing the age when they were called up as a prospect and made their major league debut.
I thought you were only saving this game for when Eric Cross comes on.
Yeah, but we just had Eric Cross on for the 100th episode, so who knows the next time he's going to come on. I'll do that again next time.
Okay.
So, Brandon, how this works, I'm going to give you a player. You tell me what age they were when they made their debut and how old they are now, and whoever gets the closest gets a point. Sounds good?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start with David, Art, Brandon, and then rotate around. And whoever gets closest gets a point. Sound good? I got 10, and then I got an 11th as a tiebreaker. So you can get a maximum of 2 points per each player.
Let's rock and roll.
All right, so Dave, we're starting with you. Your best pick of the draft, Andrew McCutchen. How old was he when he made his debut, and how old is he now?
I'm going to say I think he's like 36 now, and I'll say he was 26 when he made his debut.
Okay. Art?
I think he's probably 33 now, and he was 22 when he made his debut. 22 and 33.
Right. Brandon?
I'm going to go 23 and 35.
All right, so he was 22 when he made his debut, so Art gets a point for that, and he is 34 now. So splitting Art and Brandon, so they each get a point.
I was way off.
All right, number 2, and Art, we're starting with you, the man with the lead, Yu Darvish.
Okay, Yu Darvish. Oh, wait a second. Yu Darvish had a bit of a career in Japan before he came over.
Yes, he did.
I think he was 26 when he made his debut, and he's 35 now.
Okay. Brandon?
I'm going to go 25 and 34.
Okay. And David?
I'm going to go 26 and 36.
Brandon got both on the money. 25
Did he really?
34.
You price is righted me, Brandon.
Nice.
The price is righted me.
I was like, I think it's 3 years since free agency, 6 years before that, 9 years. Yeah, I was trying to do the math in my head. It was not going well, but apparently it did still turn out okay.
It went very well. All right, next one, Brandon. We're starting with you. We got Blake Snell.
Blake Snell was 21, and he's 26 now.
All right, David.
23 and 32.
Okay, and Art.
Okay, so his Cy Young season was 2018. Yeah, 2018. No, 2018 was his Cy Young season. So he's like 22 and 26.
All right, well, he was 23 when he made his debut, and he is 28 now. So everybody gets a point.
Okay.
Take it.
All right, David, we're back with you to start this, Mr. Justin Turner, the Red Rocket himself.
Okay, I know he's really old, in baseball terms. I know it's either 36 or 37, I believe. I think he's 37, and I'll say he made his debut at 26.
Okay. Art?
I think 25 and 37.
Okay. And Brandon?
I was going to go 25 and 38. I'll go 26 and 38.
All right, well, David, what do you say for his debut?
Oh, I know I said 30.
So you said 25 and 37. Art, you said
No, I didn't say 25. You said
26.
Yeah, I said 26 and 37.
And then Art, what did you say?
25 and 37.
All right, so it was 24 and 36. So Art gets 2 points and David gets 1 on that. Brandon was 0. All right, number 5. Art, we're going back to you to start. Matt Chapman.
Okay. 21 and 26.
Okay. Brandon?
24 and 29.
Okay. And David?
23 and 28.
All right, well, Brandon and David each get a point, 24 and 28. All right, do you guys want a score update through 5?
Let's give us the score.
All right, so Brandon has 5, Art has 5, and David has 3. Still anybody's game. We got 5 more left and then a tiebreaker. Brandon, we're going back to you to start this one. Sonny Gray.
22 and 32.
Okay. David?
23 and 31.
Okay. And Art?
Okay. 24 and 33.
David, that's just what you needed. You got both on the money.
Right.
23 and 31 for Mr. Sonny Gray. Everybody's got 5, and we got 4 questions left. David, you are starting with Mr. Corey Kluber.
Okay. I'm going to say 22 and 35.
Okay. Art?
24 and 35.
Okay. And Brandon?
26 and 36.
All right. Well, Art gets 2, David gets 1, Brandon gets 1. It's 25 and 35. So David and Art both got.
I was right with a 35.
Yeah, Art got that as well, and then 24 and 26. Art and Brandon split.
Okay.
All right, next one. And Art, we're starting with you, and this is probably a bad one to start with, considering we have 2 Twins fans on the show. But it's Byron Buxton.
Okay, Byron Buxton was a fetus. No, 20 when he started. I think 21 when he started. Sorry, and he's 28 now. 21 and 28.
Okay, Brandon.
Well, I was going to go with 21 and 28, but I'll go with.
You can do that. You don't have to if you think that's the right answer.
I'll do 22 and 28.
Okay, and David.
I'm like 90% sure he's 27. Also, I'll say 21 and 27.
David with another 2-burger. David gets 2 on that.
There we go.
The only one, and Art gets 1 actually because he said he was 21. David, nice.
There
nice.
we go. There we go.
All right. Brandon, we're starting with you. Second to last one, Trevor Rosenthal.
24 and 32.
Okay. David?
I'm going to go 25 and 34.
Okay. And Art?
I'm trying to reconstruct his career. Because he's been so many places. It's like I 20. I'm going to say 25 and 35. I don't know.
All right. Well, Brandon gets both points. You guys must think he's much older than he is. Debuted at 22, and he's 31 right now.
Oh, wow.
So going into the last question, Brandon has 4, 5, 6. Brandon's got 7. Art has 3, 5. 6. Art has 8. And David has 8. So we got an 8-8-7 game. This might be the closest game we've had where all 3 people are in it to the last one.
Oh, man. All right. Here we go.
We are ending right now with our guy, Jeff McNeil.
Who starts this one? I forget.
You do.
Okay.
No pressure.
Oh, man. I'm going to say he's been in the league a few years. I'm going to say I'm going to lose on this last one. I'm going to say he's 24 and 29.
Okay.
I know that's way off.
Art?
That was pretty much exactly what I was going to say.
I mean, if you feel like I said, I have a tiebreaker, so don't feel like you have to switch.
That was what I was going to say. I'm pretty much guaranteeing that David and I tie, but we could also be guaranteeing that we both lose if Brandon gets them both. You know what? I was 24 and 29 was exactly what I thought. I'm going to stick with it. 24 and 29.
Okay. Brandon?
Got my eye on you, Mendy.
25 and 30.
Well, we're going to an overtime as it was 26 and 29. So David and Art both have 9. So we got a tiebreaker here.
All right,
And
you're riding my coattails. I'm taking you down.
Art, no. Oh, Art's going first on this one. Hyunjin Ryu.
Oh, man.
That's tough.
I think he's like 36 now. I think he was 28 when he started.
So 28 and 36.
Yeah.
David?
I was going to say 36 or 37. Oh, man. I'll say 29 and 37 just to make sure one of us wins here.
Well, you went 1 age higher than Art and both. You guys are actually both off. He debuted at 26, and he's only 34. So Art gets both points, and Art wins the game.
That's bull crap. Oh, that's bull crap.
You righted me the wrong way.
I was gonna have another one ready in case you guys want the 1-to-1 tie.
My price is
the wrong direction with the Price is Right.
Oh God, that hurt. So I'll give you. That hurt. That hurt more than a normal loss. Just that.
David having the 2 perfect ones, thinking he's not right with Jeff McNeil. Art copies the same one. They go into OT. Oh gosh, I feel that for you, David.
I'm losing in the finals and everything I do in life. It's just freaking nuts, man. It is. I don't know what I need to do to actually win something, but whatever it is, just please.
You need to give me your dog.
No. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to get Brandon out of here. Brandon, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Anytime, guys. Anytime.
Awesome. And before you head out, can you give our listeners where they can find you on Twitter, all the great stuff that you're doing, and what they can check out the content that you're putting out there right now.
Yeah, so @Warren on Twitter and accesstweens.substack.com, which is where I post pretty much everything. The latest podcast will drop tomorrow at 6 a.m. And it was Greg Olson and I on that 90s baseball pod talking to former MLB left-hander Greg Swindell. So lots of fun stories from the 90s and from playing college baseball in the 80s. It's a really fun time. So that's up on YouTube right now. Access to it on YouTube, or else the regular pod audio will drop tomorrow morning.
And you also just had Ben McDonald on too, right?
Yeah, Big Ben McDonald was on last week, and he was Baltimore's first-round pick the year after
Greg was taken. So they had a lot of war stories from playing for Frank Robinson and playing with Cal Ripken Jr. and all that fun stuff. So another really good SEC pitcher. So another fun discussion if you want to find that one on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts.
That's really great. I'm glad to hear that Ben McDonald's goes through his word with some people.
I knew that was coming.
I was debating whether or not we say that off air or not, but F it, why not?
That's awesome.
I had the Trump card. I had the former teammate card, so sorry.
That is the ultimate Trump card. Doc was communicating with him for a while to get him on.
Worst guy to ever DM with.
Well, yeah, hopefully he doesn't watch this podcast anyway, but we're
going
to end it on there. Everybody, appreciate you watching, listening, however you consume Triple Play Fantasy each week. We truly appreciate your listenership and your support. We're going to dive into some off-season content with another great guest next week. I'm sure it's going to be a fun episode, whatever we do. But until then, everyone stay safe, enjoy the playoffs, and we're going to make like a bread truck and haul these buns. We'll catch you guys